As I'm sure you saw last week, Omnisphere 3 was announced and released. I'm sure you've seen tons of videos about it all over your algorithm and all over your feed. I have been seeing them everywhere, but I have not watched a single video. I haven't watched a walkthrough. I haven't watched Spectrasonic's actual official demo of it. I have no knowledge of Omnisphere 3 other than the actual sales page and looking at some of the new features that it's going to offer. So I figured it would be really fun if I do a video where I open it for the first time on camera and kind of give you my real first impressions of Omnisphere 3. So a couple things to clarify. This is not going to be sponsored. I've never spoken with anybody at Spectrasonics. I've definitely never spoken with any of the Omnisphere creators. I purchased this with my own money. I purchased the original Omnisphere years ago, and I bought this upgrade for $199 yesterday. I haven't opened it a single time. I haven't watched a single video about it. All I've done is looked at the sales page to kind of see what we're even looking for in this video. So I'm going to open up Omnisphere 3 in just a second. But before I do, here is the page that we're looking at. It looks like there are some fresh new sounds in here. It looks like there are adaptive controls, aka like macros for this, which would be huge for me. That's one of my favorite things in like the Analog Lab and Serum. It looks like there are patch mutations. Sometimes these kind of things are hit or miss. Sometimes randomization things can be really fun for plugins, and sometimes it just gives you a bunch of unusable stuff. There are new synths and sound design features. There's quad zones. There's tons of new filter types. There's oscillator drift. There's dual frequency shifter, new wavetables. We're going to take a look at everything. The upgrade price is only $199, which is not terrible as long as I really do like all of the new stuff that they've added. They did add a bunch of new effects, and one thing that I actually saw that does intrigue me about this is that you can actually now use the effects outside of Omnisphere. So I think it's really, really cool when you have something like Serum and you can use the Serum effects, or you have, like native instruments and you can use some of the effects from Massive outside of those plugins, because maybe I have a sound and I want to kind of process it like I would process an Omnisphere patch, but I never really had access to these outside of Omnisphere until now. So at first look, it looks like a really, really solid upgrade, especially for $199. I saw somewhere too that there is going to be a lot of added keyboards that you can actually use, so it'll have all of the macros and parameters kind of pre-mapped. So now that we've kind of looked for what we're looking for, let's actually go in and let's open it up. Let's have our moment of truth. Omnisphere is right here, and let's load this up so we can see. Oh, see, this is literally how early I have not used it. All right, so at first look, it looks similar over here. This global filter, this global layer right here, this does look a lot more intuitive to me. One thing that I'm noticing over here is this is a massive upgrade for me. One of my big issues with Omnisphere in the past was how annoying it was to kind of find files and navigate things. So it looks like here are all of the new libraries down here, and then you have the legacy libraries, and I have Keyscape and Trillion, so I could use those as well. But if I were to do this, then you get all of your kind of classic Omnisphere things. I do want to look at some of the new patches though, so I'm going to go to Analog Vibes, and we're just going to start picking things. I do like that now there are categories right here. So like, let's just say I want to search for an analog bell long. It's going to give me some presets. I am going to turn this audition off. That has always annoyed me. So I'm just going to pick some stuff and see. That's a really nice patch. Let's mess around with some of these new options that they have. Vibrato. That's pretty nice. Okay, I like having that. That's a nice little feature. Let's turn on some filter stuff. Okay. I like that there's a unison. That's kind of nice. Overall, I like that you can toggle effects. Pop a limiter on here. Let's mess around with this ambience. I don't know if this is like a reverb. Maybe it's like a new like smart control. That's kind of nice. Let's shorten the length. Let's try a slightly different sound to mess with that. I'm going to go with something that's a little bit shorter. Let's go with analog E-pianos. Yeah, let's try this now. All right, that's kind of nice. Let's shorten that. Nice little short, kind of roomy sound. Really long. Like a frozen reverb almost. Okay, I like the ambience feature. That's really nice. Let's try the unison a little bit. Cool. Overall, I think that this new little page right here, super great. Over here, this looks pretty similar. Kind of got a little, facelift over here, it looks like. There is a frequency shifter. Let's see if we can play around with this now. Let's run them in serial. Let's invert. This is kind of cool, actually. We can turn key tracking on or off. Cool. If we turn on the key tracker, I think it gets a little bit more musical. All right, let's try some different presets. How velocity sensitive can we get? All right, that feels pretty good. All right. Cool, let's close this up. Let's go back to our main. If we come over here to Orb, let's play around with this. This is kind of sick. Looks like you can automate it. Sick. Nice. Turn on our dice. Get some really cool kind of like randomized sounds. Okay, cool. The orb feature is nice, kind of a little bit easier to use. If we go into our effects, let's kind of see some of the stuff that we have over here. Tons of new stuff. Okay, that's nice. Let's try something else. There is this chameleon chorus that we have Dimension, Ensemble, and SPX. This is like a Roland Dimension D kind of vibe. Turn it to 100%. Let's try the ensemble. Let's try the SPX. All right, that's pretty nice. Let's go see what else is new over here, just so I don't have to spend too long flipping through. Let's try the new refraction delay. That sounds like that could be fun. Let's turn the mix down. Let's sync this just so it's a little bit easier to work with. Cool. Let's try the inverse up. All right, cool. So we can kind of get like some reverse delays. That's nice. Let's try the magnetic echo. That's actually really pretty. This is one that I'll probably actually use outside of Omnisphere because this is pretty. All right. Turn stereo off. Nice feature. Turn spread all the way up. Kind of gets like a binaural thing. Let's try different presets. All right, cool. It's a nice little feature that they have. Let's try some of the other features. These are all pretty solid. So far, I like the update. I haven't found anything that's like super mind-blowing yet. I do think that all of these new effects, the ones that I've tried at least, sound great. Let's try a few more patches, and then I want to try some of the patch kind of adaptation things. All right, so let's try. I'm just going to cycle through these. That's kind of a cool little vibe. Looks like down here. Let's turn Orb back off. Let's look at this Quadzone inspector. Let's turn it on fader and just kind of play around. Let's see how we do this. Let's see if we can crossfade these a little bit. I'm going to crossfade this one up too. This is kind of a cool little feature if you want to add in some kind of like musical automation. It's cool too that you could have it be velocity, so if you play really soft, play a little bit harder, play the hardest. All right, this Quadzone editor is sick. Obviously, you can do things like split the notes. This is something that I've done a lot on like my Roland DS88 underneath me, is you can split it into zones. So like, let's say, for instance, we take this and let's say that we want the Juno sub to be, you know, lower notes in the actual key bed. Let's move this back a little bit. Let's say we want that to be over there. We'll leave the noise on for everything, but let's say we want the saw to enter right here, and let's say we want the pulse to enter over here. So if we go, let me go lower. Let's turn this on. Let's try now. I'm going to go down to... Okay, so there you get the sub. There you get the saw. There you get the pulse. So if you want to split it note by note, you can. Let's try something that actually does use all 4 oscillators. Velocity at like 60. Kind of get that more kind of clav. I think my favorite version is probably the fader, because I would love to actually MIDI CC learn this and just kind of do this to my fader on my keyboard. So now I could... And I think for the fader, it actually works a little bit better if you kind of fade in some of these notes. I think that you can get this really cool kind of like ramp effect. And I actually think it's kind of fun if you have them never really end. You kind of just start to layer them as you drive that fader up a little bit. So let's try that. I will say one thing is it's hard to see exactly where you're clicking on this to drag it out. That's kind of a negative for me. But other than that, it's not that big of a deal. But like, let's say... That's kind of fun. Let's try something that's a little bit vibier. Let's go to like a pad. I feel like this would work a little bit better. Yeah, let's do this. Boom. Let's drag this over here. And then the last one, transfuse. Not even sure what that layer is going to do. Let's turn Quadzone on. That's really fun, actually. I actually really do like this. Turn it on. Let's do velocity again. Shorten this. I really like this Quadzone editor, actually. Pull in the noise at higher velocities. That gives you really cool, like, dynamic expression. All right, Quadzone is sick. That is a great feature. Let's go to the patch mutations. That's what I wanted to check out. I'm going to keep trying different libraries as well. Let's try hard edges. Categories, let's do some bass stuff. All right, that's sick. What is this drop down? You can go default or extreme. Let's mutate. Ooh, and it saves your mutations. Okay, sick. So if you go to directory, mutations down here, and then let's say you just want to go back to your main patch. Oh, it'll even do by date. Damn, okay, that is sick. Let's mutate again. Let's try again. So what I like about these mutations is that they are decently similar to the original. Like, I hate when something has like a mutate function and it basically just creates a new patch out of nowhere. I love a randomization function if that's going to be what it's like labeled and marketed as, but this is actually sick. I took one preset and I've gotten 5 different versions out of it. So that's actually really, 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 really sick. Okay, they're doing a great job with that one. Let's go to Ambient Dreams. Let's try like a guitar wash. Let's do an extreme mutation and just see what this gives us. Okay, see, that's not super similar. That's not super usable. I mean, it's cool, it's fun. This is more like a randomization button. But in 3, we've gotten from a strummy guitar, to a slide guitar, to a kalimba pluck, to a choir. So that one, I might use a little bit less. I'm actually gonna swap this back to default. And let's go back. I wanna do some more mutations and just kind of see what we can get. Let's do bell bowls. Make sure we're on default. That's sick. Mutate again. All right, the mutations are really fire. I'm not gonna lie, that feature is sick. Adaptive controls we've kind of looked at. Let's flip through some more presets and then start playing around with some of these new effects. Overall, I think this is a really good upgrade. I am not mad that I spent $200 on this. Let's go to the scoring organic. This is a section I saw on there that I was really excited about. Let's go to strings. Let's go to orchestra. All right, that's pretty sick. I heard something about there being, I saw somewhere that you could basically add in your keyboard so it would know exactly what you want it to play. Where do we do that at? Okay, if we come up here to this HW button, boom, hardware, that's exactly what we want. I am on the Arturia Keylab 61 Mark II, actually, I think. Am I Mark II or Mark III? Boom, this will clear loaded patches. That's cool. Do I need setup instructions? Sure. All right, so it'll give you all your setup instructions. I don't really care about that right now. We're gonna fly by the seat of our pants. All right, now let's mess around with some of these. So far, it's not really doing anything with my keyboard. Let's try Mark III. This could be user error right here. So if you're doing it, especially on the Arturia, what you have to do is go into your Arturia and make sure that your keyboard is not set to DAW control. Turn it to Arturia program control. And boom, now we're in there. Cool. Okay, now this is sick. Sorry, had to figure that out real quick. Again, this is first time for everything for me on this. Let's go to some bell mallets. I ain't finding anything for some reason. Maybe there aren't any. This is sick, actually. Part level's kind of cool. We got ambience controls over here. All right. All right, that's kind of sick. Let's go to something that's a little bit less ambient. Let's go to... Did we do classic digital? I don't think we have. And I'm just going to say all. So one thing is my pitch wheel is not responding with this. So I do have to figure that out. There we go. If I just turn it on to solo, it'll hit it. I just have to turn legato off, essentially, to trigger it. Maybe that's like a weird thing that they got going on there. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Let's try again. All right, now it's in there. Cool. All right, now we're cooking. All right, so far, all of the new features are really, really sick. I do think that it might be worth the $199 upgrade. I think if you haven't purchased Omnisphere, I do think this is a better use of $400 or $500, whatever they're charging for it, rather than the last version. I think there's a lot of new features that make this a little bit more easy to integrate into your workflow. One thing that I do want to check out is this unison phase scatter. Where are we finding that? Where is unison phase scatter? Is that what they're calling the unison over here? Let's try a slightly shorter patch. I'm going to try something that is synth, pluck. Let's try this unison. Not working on that. There we go. Happening for me there. Let's look at this unison over here. So what is it saying? New unison phase scatter. Let's try this analog. All right, this is what I'm looking for. Oh, okay. Kind of gives us more of like a old like actual drift. Let's turn drift up. Let's turn this off. If we turn unison off, let's turn scatter up. Turn spread down. This is kind of cool, actually. All right, so the analog version is kind of nice, I will say. Let's give this like a longer, like synth poly, like a brass kind of cycle. Turn on our drift here. That's kind of nice. Cool. Do it to Oscillator B as well. So you can get some really, really intense detuning. If I go over here, is this being a macro for these? That's all I want to see. Detune and analog is at 0. Let's go over here. There we go. Let's try this ambience amount. Pull this filter in. Swap this to like a low pass filter. All right, let's try some of these new filters because it said that there were quite a few over here. Nice little Jupiter filter. Little Oberheim filter. The resonance on an Oberheim filter is very, very good. French. Classic. Does it tell us which ones are all of the new ones? 36 new filter types? No, just a bunch of new. Okay, so I would assume everything that's not in Legacy is new. Let's try some of these. Okay. There's a lot of filter stuff happening. If you're a synth nerd, I think that'll be kind of fun to dive into. Other than that, let's see if there's anything else. Harmonia. Cool. Circuit modeled saturation. Okay, we kind of played around with that. Vintage oscillator drift and unison phase scatter. We kind of played around with all of those. Classic glissando and glide modes. That's kind of fun. Where do you access all of those? Boom, there's velocity curves. Here is glide modes. Oh, okay, this is actually kind of sick. Let's check these out. Let's go to like an OB. All right, I'm going to set this at 1 second, and I'm going to play a C 2 octaves apart. Now let's change the mode and see how different it is. Let's try the Odyssey. All right, glissando is going to give you that note separation. Linear is going to give you smooth. There's definitely some sauce in these. Just kind of the different ramps and how quickly they rise or fall. Cool. Anything else that we want to look at? Polyphonic expression. I don't really have that on this keyboard, but if I operate it with my Polybrute over there, that might be something to check out in another time. Let's see all of these that they added. Oh, let's check out the actual FX plugin. New directory tree, subcategories, library images. Simplified tagging could be cool. Where do we kind of get into that? What is this right here? Shuffle, sound lock. Oh, this is cool. So if you want to lock features, okay, I believe there was that in the first one, but that looks like more features than I'm used to. There's obviously the match. This has always been a great feature in Omnisphere. How do you tag these if you want to tag them? Maybe they've already tagged them, and that's what they mean by you can go in and you can look up keywords, you can look up moods. Okay, not a game changer on that, but I'm totally happy with it. Let's check out Omnisphere. This is kind of sick, actually. Okay, so having an Omnisphere effects rack, this to me is kind of worth the upgrade price alone. They have like an LA2A, it looks like. Let's just shuffle through some of the things. Multiband compressor. Nice. Let's try some of the color stuff. Let me select a more simple sound over here just so I can have something that's like really clean. Maybe I'll just go to, let's go to Instruments Collection or Live Keyboardist. We didn't really look at any of this stuff actually. Let's go to Keys. Let's go to Rhodes. Cool, that actually is kind of a nice little tape saturation, tape chorus kind of thing. Nice little enhancer for some dynamics. Tape slammer. That's kind of nice. So far, all of the effects are really, really solid. Let's go into modulation. Turn mono off. Ooh. See, something like this where you can kind of get the modulation of something like an Oberheim or an MXR, or you can go in and you can get like the chorus of a Roland Dimension D, or you can get the chorus of like an Ensemble or an SPX. Slow it down. That's really nice, actually. If we turn the mix all the way up. All right, there's a lot of really, really cool tools in this. Let's see some of the reverbs that we didn't check out, inversions. Nice little reverse reverb. You could definitely do some like really cool sound design with something like this. Amplifier, metal zone distortion, that's so funny. Multiband distortion, which ones are new in here? I want to look at like one new plugin. I'm going to pick, let's go to creative. Let's go to the Pump-O-Matic and flip backwards. I just want to see. Creative, flip backward. Nice little reverser. Turn it down. Filter it out. That's cool. Let's go to, let's try the warp shifter. Okay, that's kind of fun. Let's try inner space. This is kind of cool. Let's try different textures. Ooh, that was bright. Sorry. That's a really cool one. Okay, inner space I'm probably going to use a lot for like making pads. Pump-O-Matic. Nice. Little side chainer. Pulsar split. A little, looks like a 2-part side chainer. Let's do like a, let's do a sine wave. There's also compression in here. Okay, I like a lot of the new effects that they have. I didn't get to dive into all of the sounds as much as I want, but I'm sure there's entire like playthrough videos of people just literally going through all of the sounds of Omnisphere 3. Jesus Christ. Okay. I assume we're in ARP right now. Let's go to synths. Synth long. All right. Overall, if you're asking me my opinion, if you already have Omnisphere 2, I do think Omnisphere 3 is probably going to be worth the money. I think having all of the global features right here that are a lot easier to operate, having it be super seamless with your actual MIDI controller, having things like having the effects plugin as its own little library over here, having all of the new libraries and patches that are organized better. The mutation function is absolutely sick. I love the Quadzone function in here. I think that this is probably going to be one of the features that I use the most, especially on slider level. Overall, my first impression, really, really good. Again, not sponsored. I paid for this with my own money. I'm not going to get anything out of this video. But if you like this video, please make sure that you let us know by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Other than that, if you want to see more videos like this, we do videos like this every single Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And if you want to support us, the best way to do that is head over to our website, makepopmusic.com. We have presets, samples, MIDI packs, courses. We have a lot of free content over there as well. So if you're new to our channel or if you haven't checked it out, that's all in the description. Again, that's makepopmusic.com. But that's going to do it for this. I'm sure you'll be seeing Omnisphere 3 appear on this channel very, very often. But great work, Spectrasonics. This is a great update. Much love. Peace.